Hi folks, so I thought I'd show you a little bit of the area where I live in Johannesburg, South Africa, and see if we cannot just have a chat on my way to where I'm going. So, I mean, there's many things we can talk about. I hope this recording you can hear me alright. I tried it before, but all you could hear was motor sounds. I'm not sure why. I tried to fix that, but I'm not even sure if you're going to hear me correctly. Sure, yeah. So South Africa, it's a third world country, but there are parts of it that look pretty first world, if you will. But obviously there's a big crime problem here. I'm not sure if you can see, there's, the walls, the high walls, barbed wire, electric fencing. Here's a boomed off area, security controlled area. There's many of these. You also get private security companies, many of them. In fact, I think there's like 3 times the amount of people employed by private security companies than there are policemen or something or other. The police are generally completely ineffective and highly corrupted. So people have had to rely on private security companies. And so in this area in particular, there's 1 or 2, and it's a 24-hour service. You can see one of their pickup trucks is on the right-hand side, opposite, on the oncoming traffic here. You can't really see it, but these are 24-hour guys that drive around. A number of these pickup trucks, you'll see it passing here on the right-hand side, and they're fully armed, bulletproof vests and whatever. It's hectic. 24/7. A number of these guys, you'll see them sometimes just standing outside a house responding to something or other, and it gets a bit nerve-wracking sometimes when you see these guys. You never know what's going on. Anyway, so crime is a huge problem. It's always at the back of your mind. Like whenever you're driving, whenever you're leaving your house or coming into your house, driving into your house, you've got to keep a keen eye around you just to see that you're not being followed, that somebody is, not waiting for you or something or other. Anyway, so this is more of the first world side of things, obviously, as you can see. Not far away from this area, you will find people living in real squalor, I think the word is. And, very unpleasant. Huge overpopulation problem here in the city, Johannesburg. A lot of foreigners, illegal, millions upon millions. And it is what it is. I mean, this country's riddled with problems. There's a trash, as you can see, I'm going to just drive right over it. As you can see, the high grass, I mean, this is the job of the government or municipalities here, but the money doesn't go into the right hands. The corruption is ridiculous, folks. Like, it's just ridiculous. Hospitals, like they're busy building a clinic or a hospital, and midway all of a sudden they run out of money, or very little gets done in regards to where the taxpayers' money is supposed to go. And so it's a very green area. Now it's summer and we've had a lot of rain, and so it's quite green. People don't respect the rules of the road here. They drive way over the speed limit. They talk on their cell phones while driving. You'll see this guy on my left-hand side coming up here. They drive recklessly. They don't care. And also because you can buy your license here. You can buy anything here. I mean, most people buy their licenses, their driver's license, and it's actually quite sad. And also, like, your roadworthy, car, your car doesn't have to be, I mean, you need to have it roadworthy, but you can just pay a guy to roadworthy it for you without him even seeing it. You buy him a bit of airtime or something or other, something small, and he'll just roadworthy your car for you, even though it's completely wouldn't pass any roadworthy tests whatsoever. So yeah, you got a lot of cars on the road, a lot of minibus taxis, private sort of people that do a lot of the transportation, and their cars are not roadworthy, they're not fit for actual driving. So add insult to injury. And on top of that, there's a lot of people who drink and drive. A lot of people who drink and drive. And so again, if you get caught, it's not really a problem, because you'll just pay the cop, I don't know, you can pay him up to $3-4. Here it's rands, but if you do the exchange, it's about that much. Yeah. And so the guy will let you go. I mean, you can be placidly drunk. I think it was a few years ago, the commissioner of police, or something like the head of the police department, was caught drinking. He slammed his Ferrari, Porsche, or some very expensive car into a brick house, well, the wall of a house, and he was completely drunk, and they caught him on camera, slurring or whatever it was, and I think he still continued to be the commissioner, because none of these investigations go very far, because again, you just pay off the investigating party, and they lose the documents and whatever it is. Yeah, unemployment rate here is pretty darn high, and it's riddled with problems, folks, as you know. I mean, which country isn't, in a way, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's just a little bit. I mean, I could say so much more about South Africa and Johannesburg and whatnot. Yeah. So, what can I share? For myself, generally mornings are pretty hard. Hey, I don't know. Somewhat, have anxiety in the mornings. I find it hard for myself to get going. I find it to be a bit overwhelming, waking up, and there's just so much, like, if you've got responsibilities and deadlines and whatever it is, and chores, and like now, and you want to, I don't have the time to sort of appreciate. You see people on their cell phones. I don't know if you can see. I mean, that's countries everywhere, we can't leave our cell phones alone for 2 seconds. Average person, they say, checks their phone 150 times a day. I mean, the guy behind me, you can't see, obviously, my rearview mirror, I can see he's on his cell phone and he's talking with the other hand. And he's like got his elbow almost, and he's using it to use the steering wheel. Anyway, so what was I saying about, mornings? It's just like I don't have time. I mean, I do. It's not just, it's just the energy. It's just the energy. It's like the environment and the place. And I just feel like, especially in the city life, you got to get going, even though maybe I don't have so many deadlines that day or things that I have to do. But it's overwhelming energy, and it's, I don't know. That's why I'm wanting to move out of the city into more of a smaller city with the ocean and whatever. Anyway, so I find mornings hard. I find it hard to. There's just so much going on, folks. There's just so much going on. It's just like huge, and so much to think about, and there's so much to contemplate and experience and do. I mean, like with the internet, and there's just so much. Last night I watched a movie called Green Book, suggested by my friend Eric, and it was a marvelous movie. And it was quite late at night and I needed to go to bed, but I really wanted to think about this movie. There's just so much to think about, and again, not I'm saying think about in constructive ways. There's so much information, there's so much data. Somebody was speaking the other day to a guy named Michael Mead. Brilliant individual, brilliant man, brilliant, really. And he was saying that to Michael that he finds a brilliant way to capture the data or the inflow that's continuously pouring in to the world, in a way, if that makes sense. Because there's just so much information coming in, there's so much novelty. there's so much experience nowadays. I mean, there's always been, if you're living beyond the surface of things, there always has been, but like now it's just huge amounts. And so it's like, what do we do with that? And how do we capture it without letting it, with so much of it just slip through our fingers? Because that's what's happening. So many teachings, so many insights, so many experiences, whatever it is, it's just slipping through our fingers. Insights on life, on living, on the psyche, on psychology, on nature, on spiritualism, on mysticism. It's just like now there's such an influx, especially with the internet and technology and whatever it is, and the coming out information on psychedelics, and it's just so much, folks, as we know. It's very nice and green, the parts that I'm driving. I've chosen to drive more of a scenic route in a way. Yeah, in a sense. So yeah, folks, it's just like what I'm saying is that you wake up in the morning and it's on. Hey, it's like it's alive. It breathes this world. I mean, it always has been, but like again, when you're more in touch with it, you're more in touch with the synchronicities, you're more in touch with what's going on, man. Like, you know, what might be coming down in the future. Where we come from, okay? It's like if you're really sort of in touch and tune and you're paying attention, my goodness me, you know, there's a lot happening and your life is very rich and it's very overwhelming at the same time. I mean, I realize how different I am from who I used to be not so long ago. Even my thoughts, my interests, etc. It's just so much, just all changed. Just feels all different and feels new, okay? And it's like trying to keep up with that, and that, you know, there's an anxiety because it's constant change that's going on, and so it's and you're finding yourself seeing things so differently, feeling things so differently, understanding things. I mean, it's endless. It's endless. So there's no sort of stationary ground. It's like we're on these conveyor belts, and there's no, you know, you're just needing to learn how to ride it. It's just to go with it. Just what you're having to do, and leave so much behind. So much behind. I'm saying, like, yeah, it's hard to put into words, I suppose. It really is. But yeah, it's just, and also dealing on the most personal stuff for myself is obviously like my own blind spots, my own shadow work, and whatever it is. That's what's the most important and relevant for me. I mean, yes, the world, etc., external world, but for myself, it's like my story in a way. Oh, I mean, I'm realizing for myself, what was I seeing the other day? My scarcity mentality. Like, I just haven't come to terms with what I am about. Like, I mean, when people talk about the work that I do with my videos, and I don't feel I have a scarcity mentality, and when I want to talk about that, not in regards to necessarily, yes, in regards to most things, but in regards to the person that I am. Like my virtues, my abilities, how far I've come, or whatever it is, you know. It's like, yeah, it's been for myself, like, I don't know, I look back at videos that I did like a few months ago, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty insightful, man, and yet I just don't feel like I can own it a lot of the time. Or people give me compliments or comments or feedback, and they're just really impressed and amazed by what I do and who I am, and I'm like, I don't feel it, you know, I can't own it. And what's wrong with that? Right? Why don't I feel my worth or my value, whatever that may be? Like, why don't I feel it? Is it in myself, or I'm not getting it reflected back in my life? Sometimes I think that as well, like it's not being reflected back in my life. But I just have a scarcity mentality about my own self and my own abilities, and how nervous about things I am, about, decisions I'm making, but overly nervous, a lack of confidence, with a lot of things that I should have more confidence about, like things that I've, if I moved out of the city before, now I need to move out of it again, right? I know that I have what it takes. Do you know what I'm saying, folks? Like, you know that you have what it takes because you've experienced it before, but yet you're just anxious, or you're just so uncertain, or just, maybe you want to lose a bit of weight, maybe you want to start an exercise routine, maybe you want to do more meditation, but there's such a fear sometimes, like we met with so much resistance with the fact that, can we actually do this? I don't know. So yeah, folks, that's something that I'm working on in my own personal proximity, and it's of the highest priority. No matter what else is going on in the world, it's like, how am I holding my own? In what regard am I holding myself? All right, folks, I'm at my destination. Appreciate you taking the time. I hope you did be able to hear me all right, and I was able to upload this if the sound wasn't too bad. All right, we'll chat soon. Take care.